Good morning and welcome to this weekly market update from MRC Markets. Today is the 17th of January 2014. What we'll do today is go through some technical analysis on Euro dollar, cable dollar, Swiss, Aussie and gold. Just going to sort of review what's been going on this week in the markets, since last week's video, and just go through any interesting setups that are out there in the markets and which should hopefully have an influence over the next until next week's video. Okay, and this is a brief look at the weekly. So last week's weekly candle, I mean, a slight bullish one, but not amazingly bullish. I mean, you've got a bit of equal wick either side, and I mean, we've been speaking about for the sort of last few weeks. Really, it's been looking a little bit toppy, and you can see those four candles there. Decent upper wicks around previous resistance as well. So resistance on the weekly is 1.3812s. We couldn't get weekly close above that, and you can see it's now starting to come down a bit, and that's what's been happening this week, especially with today's candle. This week's candle, so it's slightly bearish. I mean, it's not like a massive engulfing or anything. It's just a small red candle, really. So yeah, in terms of the sort of the weekly fibs, so I actually need to change the colour of these quickly. Bear with me 2 seconds. Just stick to 50%, 61.8 on it. Doing the percentage mark in the dollar, it brings up the price next to the level, which is quite useful. So yeah, I mean, this is the fib where it's just use the actual low of the year to the high of 2013. That 50% I think we spoke about this in last week's video. It ties up with the 200-week moving average, and also previous support as well, and that's at 1.3320s. So nothing's really changed in terms of this weekly. I mean, the reason it's sort of coming down in terms of this weekly chart is this fib here. We spoke about this in last week's video. So this 61.8% retracement, which comes down 1.3832s. The sellers, the long-term players, there'd be quite a few, I would have thought, in this move, looking to bring it all the way down to these 120s. So yeah, keep that in mind. Let's scale down through the time frames. In terms of the daily, we've obviously spoken about these moves many times. We had that one there, and then if you move up, we had that move there. So I mean, yeah, you could extend it to that high. Well, I think that's that's the same, pretty much the same move. So you can see a little bit clearer, that 50%, nice decent support there as well. And currently it's just chopping in between the sort of 100-day and the 50-day, just chopping either side. Pretty messy, really. One thing which is fairly interesting is this one here. So that's off the recent dip. I mean, it's not the greatest one to use, but it's technically playing out, so it's good to, in terms of just a pure level, there's 50%, 1.3594s. Has been playing out quite nice. If you look at that 4-hour chart there, the last couple of days, it's sort of in the key line in the sand in terms of supports. These sort of candles that here put quite a few spikes below and closes above, so the bulls are still trying to hold it above this level, but you can also see on this 4-hour, this 50 SMA is capping it currently. So yeah, it's been quite choppy in terms of the sort of longer term charts, but I'm sorry to keep that same fib on there, but in terms of sort of intraday stuff, if you just play in the levels, it's been quite decent in my opinion. So in terms of the 1 hour there, nice sort of spike candle there, slight hammer, nice pop up we had. And in terms of just the round numbers, it's been really interesting as well this week. So I'm just going to change the colour of these levels. So yeah, in terms of, I mean, you've got 136s, 136.50s. In terms of just sort of 50 pip increments, and then let's draw 137s as well, and then 135.50s. just in terms of like intraday stuff, you can see here these levels have just been playing out really nicely, and currently it's just chopping in between this sort of zones. You can see if you look here, lovely spikes off that level there, nice reversal candles, came back down there to the 13600s, slight pop up, came back down here to 13550s, reversed up, then you can see slight sell off at the 137s here, also previous support at the 137s, came back down off this sort of 50% and sort of 136 sort of confluence level. We had a mini bounce up here then the other day off this 136.50s, and that might have been yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I mean, you can look at all sort. I mean, 1 hour, 30-minute charts, 15-minute. Just look for sort of small reversals, and it's been playing out really nicely these levels this week. So I mean, yes, it's been choppy, but if it is choppy, then just play the range really. That's what has been working this week. There's been some really nice opportunities on this euro dollar in terms of just purely just playing those simple levels. I mean, you can use it as sort of support and resistance as well. So if you don't want to use the round numbers, then just look at the sort of support there, resistance here. It's just really simple stuff, really. Nothing too complicated. No magic indicators. It's just pure levels trading, really. And that's been playing out nicely. Anyway, let's have a look at cables on the weekly. What we spoke about last sort of couple of weeks, well, especially last week's video, it's been due retracement really. It's been 2013 was a big grind up. We said last week it's been looking a little bit toppy. We've had a few upper wicks, a few decent upper wick spikes at the sort of what level we talking about, the 136s. No, 136, 165. Sorry. So 165 key line in the sand for the weekly chart on cable. And you can see this week we've currently in a bearish engulfing candle formation, so that could be a real sort of a catalyst for a decent sell-off, decent retracement on this weekly chart. For a look for a retracement down towards 157s and around these sort of moving averages. So that's pretty much it in terms of the weekly. And on the daily, it's the same fib, is always a useful one to look at. Of course, we're still a long way away from it, but it's good to keep it in mind in terms of a longer term move. I'd expect it to come down to this 50% if we're going to get a decent retracement, and that 50% also coincides with this previous resistance around here, which could turn into support as well. There's also previous resistance there, and the 61.8 was actually previous support. So an interesting sort of zone here, this 50% and 61.8% retracement. And then if we look at the 4 hour, the 4 hour has been a little bit messy. But still, of course, some decent opportunities. That's a decent fib there, played out of the 61.8s, and also the 165 as well. King on the sand, rotated lower. In terms of the dips, I mean, it's similar to sort of euro really. If you just want to play the sort of round numbers, so you got 165s, and then if you draw 164s, and then if we look at sort of let's just clear that up. And then if we look at the 163s as well, they've all been playing out. I mean, it's definitely been some interesting price action. I mean, in the longer term charts, it is looking a little bit messy, but there's still been some lovely opportunities over the past week for sort of scalping, just sort of nicking a few sort of like 20, 30 pips either side. So if you flip it to this 1 hour, you can see it's been some lovely opportunities, and they've been playing around numbers really well. So if you look here to the left, 163.50s, nice sort of 1 hour reversal candles, rotated higher all the way up to 165s, reversal candle, came back down, then around here 164s, nice rotation towards the upside, and again here 163.50s, rotation towards the upside, it came back down off the 164s again. So you can see these round numbers really have been playing out very nicely. And again this week, I mean, this week on cable it's been a little bit more choppy. Euro's been a bit nicer, in my opinion. But there's still been some lovely opportunities. But in terms of the longer term context, that daily fib is one I'm definitely keeping an eye out for. And a lot of people will also be looking at this fib setup as well on this daily. So that's the sort of recent swing low. You can see it a bit clearer on the 4 hour there. So the recent swing low on the 4 hour chart, that 50% coincides with previous support to the left here at the one spot 62. 28, and also coincides with previous resistance here as well. You can see so previous resistance turning into new support. That should be an interesting level if we do come back down to that sort of area. Okay, let's have a look at the dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss on the weekly really isn't that interesting, so I'm not even going to bother looking at it. The daily's been interesting. We spoke about these the fibs on here multiple times. So we had that one here, lovely move, and then if you extend your low down there and then bring the high down from the recent swings, that's 61.8, played out very nicely, and then there, so if you extend the low again to that one but still keep the same high, you can see it's the 50% was the key resistance, and it came back down. It's had some support with the 50-day moving average this week, and then a brief bounce up, so I'd expect it to come back up and test this 50% or maybe even the 200-day moving average here, so keep an eye on that in terms of the daily. If we bring it down to the 4 hour personally, we're looking at this move here, but it didn't quite come back down. You can see it got a nice support off of the 100 SMA here on the 4 hour. It hasn't been a majorly interesting chart, to be honest with you. If you flip it to the 1 hour, this is a very small fib here, which you can see buyers have been coming in at. We got a nice spike at the 61.8% retracement here, and then it got capped at the 50 SMA, came back down to the 100 SMA. You can see this previous 1 hour candle, a nice reversal, and it's trying to get above the 200 SMA and then above the 50 SMA as well. But that's what a little one to look out for there. You can see it much clearer on the 30-minute chart as well. So the short-term players, you can see there's always interesting opportunities in any sort of time frame. If it's choppy on the longer term ones and just sort of scaling, there's always interesting moves like this one here. Prime example there, this fib is still in play, and the bulls will want to be looking to bring it up towards the 0.91s to pretty much complete the move there. Let's look at the Aussie. The Aussie on the weekly has been very heavy this week, and we're breaking below the 2000. Well, we have broken below the 2013 lows this first month in January. And in terms of sort of big weekly fib moves, it's all about this one here. This 50% comes at the 0.85 at 68, so of course we're still a long way away from that, but just keep that in mind really in terms of the big cyclical level here. If we do come down over the next couple of weeks, keep that one in mind. And then of course the reason we've sort of come down here is because of course this move here we've spoken about many times. This fib is pretty much complete now. I mean, a lot of people will be looking at the sort of the minus 0.23% extension of this move to complete, but I think as long as it sort of breaks the lows, then that fib move's complete really. The retracement's done, it's retraced, it's come back up, and it's taken out the lows, so that move is done and dusted really. In terms of the daily, if we do get a brief, if we do get a retracement, then I'll personally be looking at this sort of fib move here. I mean, yeah, it did a brief retracement there and then just got sold off. That may even have been the 23.6. It sold off that sort of aggressive sell-off. But that'll be it's all about the swing high. That's the obvious swing high in my opinion. So if we do get any retracement up over the next sort of week, then keep an eye on that. In terms of shorter term moves, what have we had? I mean, in the 4 hour, it's just been grinding lower really. Nothing majorly of interest. No real interesting selling opportunities this week because it's just been selling off. So no sort of healthy retracements. You can see it's trying to have some sort of retracement here, but the sellers just come in at any sort of sign of a retracement and bring it down. So nothing major of interest on the Aussie unless we get a healthy retracement. Gold is sort of starting to retrace as well. We spoke about in last week's video, I think the weekly, we're starting to have a few weekly candles now, bullish weekly candles, sort of retracement candles. So I'd expect this to potentially come up towards this 50-week moving average on this weekly chart, or maybe even, I mean, the sellers will be looking, I would have thought of this fib here, this smaller one. You can see it's clearly on the daily actually. So yeah, it's pretty much the high on the daily chart to the low. This 50% comes at 13.07s and also coincides with 200-day moving average as well. And in terms of the sort of shorter term moves, you flip it to the 4 hour. I think this was an interesting fib. I know I didn't quite reach it actually. But yeah, the dips you can see are sort of playing out. So that's one sort of dip move there in terms of shorter term time frame. You can see on the 1 hour, similar to dollar Swiss really, on the 1 hour and the dollar Swiss, very similar fib move there. Smaller fib move, recent swing low to recent swing high off the 50%, clear sort of price action there, clear spikes below on the 50%, closes above, and it's just trying to grind higher. But you can see it's currently hitting capped at the 100 SMA here, so if it's going to take out these highs, we need to get a clear 1 hour candlestick close above this 100 SMA here, I think, to really get some momentum towards the upside. Okay then, that's all today for the charts. Hope you've enjoyed this video, hope you found it useful. If there's any other pairs that you want to have a look at next week, then feel free to comment under the YouTube channel or send us a tweet to our Twitter feed, which is at MRC_markets. Hope you have a great rest of the week trading, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks for watching.